Welcome to Intentionally Single, Seeking But Not Settling. I'm Lauren Jean, your host, integrative wellness coach, and hypnotist. Each week, we explore mindset shifts and mind-body strategies to help you live life intentionally single and content while remaining open to possibilities. Unlike typical dating advice, we focus on personal fulfillment to attract genuine love. Join us to transform unconscious patterns and embrace your intentionally single lifestyle. Stop feeling deflated by the dating world and start prioritizing the most important relationship, the one with yourself. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Intentionally Single. I am Lauren Jean, and today I'm sharing something really vulnerable with you. This is a reflection episode about my first 5 months without dating in a long time. And what I discovered about myself during that time might make you kind of uncomfortable as it made me. Because I wasn't just taking a break from dating, I was breaking this addiction. I had this addiction to using men as emotional band-aids whenever I felt a least bit uncomfortable. And when I learned about those 5 months, during those 5 months, changed everything about how I show up in relationships, and not just like romantic relationships, but relationships with food and some other things as well. Most importantly, myself, of course. And if you've ever found yourself reaching for your phone to text someone, anyone, when you're feeling bored or lonely or just like off, not feeling right, if you ever wondered why you can't seem to sit still with your own thoughts, this episode is going to be for you. Because I'm going to share the real, unfiltered story about what happened when I stopped using these external distractions to manage and deal with my internal worlds. And I'm hoping my story becomes this mirror for your own patterns, because I have a feeling I'm not the only one who has been doing this. So let me start with December. I had been seeing this guy since August. Nothing serious at all. We were texting daily and had been on several dates. Then something kind of shifted. He stopped asking me out after I canceled for the first time because I was exhausted from work, but we kept texting. And for about a month, our conversations became dry and like surface level kind of check-ins. Playfulness was gone. The excitement was over. It wasn't fun anymore, even though I still did like him. And this is where the old me would have like jumped into action. I would have offered to come to his job for a quick hello. I would have suggested times that I was available, and I would have made it easy on his schedule and not looking at myself and what I should be doing for myself, because I would have justified it by thinking, oh, he's busy. I'm being helpful. I'm showing him that I'm worth the effort. But this time I did not do any of that. I was completely different. And not because I didn't like him, but because I was changing inside. It was very different. Something had seriously shifted in me. And 5 years of working on myself, of healing from lost love, from the most important relationship I ever had, this had finally kicked in automatically. No mind racing, no wondering if he found someone better, no analyzing what I did wrong. I just let it fade naturally. And here is where I'm going to insert a mind rule for you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. This was huge for me because in the past, my mind would have been spinning like crazy. Did he get bored? Does he just want sex? And since he's not getting it, does he just not care about me anymore? Did he find someone better? But this time, there was nothing. I was quite proud of myself. There was just this quiet knowing that if someone doesn't want to put in the effort, they don't get me. And I was completely okay with that. I realized something kind of deep in that moment. I now feel good in my life, like my entire life, that I don't need someone else to make me feel good anymore. I just don't. But it gets a little bit more interesting and uncomfortable. even though I wasn't officially dating anymore, I started noticing something disturbing about my behavior. I was still reaching out to men, not for dates, but for something else. When I felt rejected, I would text an ex. During lonely holidays, I'd reach out to someone from my past. If it was someone's birthday, and I'm great remembering birthdays, I have an amazing memory, I'd use that as an excuse to connect. When I was feeling sad in general, I'd scroll through my contacts looking for whoever might respond. I just wanted to have a connection with someone. And sometimes I'd reach out to more than just one person. I could see these patterns clearly because I had been working on myself for years, many, many years. But I couldn't always stop myself. It was like knowing that eating a whole jar of Nutella would give me a throbbing headache, but doing it anyway to ease that emotional pain temporarily, because that's exactly what this was. It was like emotional eating, but with men instead of food. This was a realization for me. And I was like, oh my God, this feels so uh, reminiscent from past experiences, especially with food and with money. And I'm going to reference food here because it just makes so much sense. But the urge felt like trying to satisfy a sweet tooth. It was a craving to stop feeling so sad and lonely. And right before I text someone, my thoughts would just kind of like get jumbled, like no coherent thinking, just like sadness and this desperate need to feel better. And what I realized is I had never learned to sit with uncomfortable emotions around relationships, like in general. Specific relationships, yes, but in general, when I looked at my relationship with men in general, I had not done that. I'd done it for other things, but not relationships. And that's when I realized that I really didn't learn to sit with uncomfortable emotions in relationships without immediately trying to fix them with something external. Okay, mind rule number two: every uncomfortable feeling you avoid by seeking external validation is a missed opportunity to build emotional resilience, which is what I love. And this pattern became crystal clear to me because I had been through something similar with food, like I said in the past. Back in 2016, when I hadn't dealt with any of my emotions yet, like nothing, like my life was still, I don't want to say complete disaster, but it was all jumbled up. And there was so many things that were unresolved in myself. So back in 2016, excuse me, when I hadn't dealt with any of my emotions yet, I would break open a jar of cookie butter or Nutella and eat the almost the entire container when I started to feel something uncomfortable. I knew this was a problem, and it was so hard for me to break out of. And I think it shared in past episodes that I had binge eating order disorder, not clinically, what's the word? Clinically diagnosed. That's the word I'm trying to look for. But in my own head, I knew it was a problem because after I'd get a throbbing headache and I would switch to the opposite extreme and become obsessive about what I could and couldn't eat because I was trying to control the binge eating with these rigid, ridiculous restrictions. And this became orthorexia, which is an obsession with clean eating that people actually praised as like this healthy discipline. So it looked really good on the outside, but on the inside, I was still dealing with a lot of shame. But it was all the same thing. It was using external substances to avoid this internal discomfort that I had not yet dealt with. And what I discovered through my hypnosis training is that the mind's only job is to keep you safe. It doesn't care if you're happy. Both food and male attention felt safe to me because I could control them. I never had trouble finding men who were interested in me. They always just came to me. So when I felt unsafe emotionally, I would reach for whatever felt more accessible, whether it was food or male attention. I was so used to using food to avoid loneliness in my early post-divorce days when I wasn't dating much or at all, because I really didn't start dating until, let me think, maybe 5 years later after my divorce. But once I started dating more, I switched to using dates and male attraction for the same purpose that food served me. And not too long ago, I was sitting in my living room feeling that familiar, restless energy. And instead of immediately reaching for my phone or turning on Netflix, I just sat with it. I've gotten used to doing this practice with other things in my life. So I decided, all right, this is the time. This is what I need to do. And I realized something. I still sometimes want to reach for food when I'm bored or trying to avoid feelings. The pattern's still there. I have just gotten better at recognizing it. So I know it's only going to get better moving forward because once you have the awareness, everything can shift. So the 5 months without dating weren't as hard as I expected them to be. I reached out to friends more, took trips to see my friend upstate, built my friendship with my past relationship, who's now one of my closest friends. And when I did reach out to men, it was this honest connection, like just catching up with people who were actually special to me, not looking for anything more than a genuine hello or connection with a friend. The hardest times were when my mind got bored. I tend to want to be doing something all of the time. I'm still working on this, but something beautiful started happening. I could finally focus on my schoolwork and my workouts with any outside distractions trying to sneak in. I remember being at the gym and actually accomplishing what I set out to do instead of making excuses or leave telling myself that I was too tired. Because in the past, my mind would be on overdrive, using all of the energy I saved up for my workout, and I wasn't giving my workout the attention, the focus, and the drive that I had before I got started. So this time felt different. I was energized, I was motivated, I was fully focused on paying attention to the muscles that I was working out when I was weightlifting. And I didn't care who texted me, and I didn't feel compelled to check my phone at all. I just worked out. And in the past, this would have been a hard thing because I do use my phone to track through my Whoop app how my workouts are going. But at this time, I was fully taking care of myself, and everything else would even wait. Sometimes, even for days, I wouldn't respond. Mind rule number 3: when you stop using people as emotional regulators, you finally learn to regulate yourself. So during this time, the changes I didn't expect blew me away. Like I said, I finally got my focus back on my health because for the longest time, it was an up and down kind of roller coaster. Not extreme roller coaster, but it came in cycles. And I know a lot of us do this. Everything comes in cycles, but I was tired of being on that cycle. It was just finally things were clear. So I also was struggling with perimenopause, and it's like all of the leftover loose ends of small issues became manageable because I had the energy to give to myself instead of spreading it across like multiple casual, important relationships with men. I just stopped and it felt good again. It's like I started riding my bike again. That's what it felt like. I like got on the bike and I just rode and it felt normal. And to complement that, I actually started riding my bike again, getting outside more. I felt lighter in general. And once all that dating pressure was gone, men started contacting me again. Once I let go of the pressure and this feel of this desperation, the energy shifted and opportunities started opening up. And this uncomfortable truth that I discovered is many of us aren't dating for love or even companionship. We're dating for distraction from our own lives, our own emotions, our own problems. So I do question a lot the I love you when I hear it. Yes, it may be judgmental at times, but this isn't judgment against anyone in particular. It's just me judging what we've been taught, what this word love is. But that's a whole other episode that I can certainly get into. I was participating in trading attention with men for not genuine connection, but for temporary relief from what I was feeling. Just like I used to trade my emotional discomfort for this temporary numbing of food. Every time I reached out to a guy when I was feeling low, I was essentially saying, I don't trust myself to handle this feeling. I need you to make me feel better. That's not connection, that is dependence. And what really shifted is everything for me, understanding that every thought you think causes this physical reaction and an emotional response. And when I thought, I'm bored, I need distraction, my body would immediately feel restless and my emotions would spike with this incredible urgency. But when I changed the thought to I'm bored and that's okay, this feeling will pass, my body relaxed and my emotions calmed. It's like I wasn't holding on to this tension or resistance anymore. The mind doesn't distinguish between what's objectively true or false, healthy or unhealthy. It just responds to what you tell it. So I had to become very conscious about the internal dialogue I was feeding my mind. And this is something that I had worked with so many other things. But like I said, I made this connection that I hadn't dealt with it with men or food yet. So this is a new journey for me. I realized for years that I had been training my brain that discomfort equals emergency, and emergency means find an external fix immediately. I think we all do that at some point. No one is perfect. But every time I reached for male attention or food when I felt uncomfortable, I was reinforcing this pattern in my brain. But I knew I could retrain it. Every single time I successfully sat with discomfort instead of reaching for distraction, I was building this emotional muscle. And I was proving to my mind that I could survive this uncomfortable emotion. So, looking back on those 5 months, I can see why this journey was essential, why I needed to do it. And it felt damn good. I had to learn the difference between connection and distraction, between love and addiction, and between independence and isolation. So, for the first time in my adult life, I developed this genuine relationship with myself. I learned what I actually enjoyed, what I actually needed, and what actually brought me peace. And I couldn't have learned all of this while distracting myself constantly. And the most unexpected gift that I got was this freedom from constantly analyzing text messages, freedom for wondering if someone was going to call, freedom from needing this external approval to feel okay, freedom from using food to manage every uncomfortable emotion. I had been carrying around this emotional dependency for so long that I forgot what it felt like to be truly free around men or food. I actually don't think I've experienced this since I was 17, which was before my first relationship. So I know I started developing this at a young age, which we all do develop these things at a young age. But for me, I never noticed it. Again, the whole idea around dependency and addiction around food and men is something that I knew I needed to work on, but I didn't realize how much it had a hold over my life until I just decided to stop caring because it was too hard. And the beautiful thing is, doing this kind of work isn't about making yourself ready for a relationship. This is about making yourself free and worthy of yourself. And whether you choose to be in a partnership or remain single, the ability to be with yourself without needing any kind of external fixes is the foundation of a really amazing life. So, since then, I did start dabbling in dating again the past month or so, maybe 2 months, because I wrote this episode a while ago and I hadn't recorded it for a bit. So, this is a little while back, but dating feels completely different now. I don't have any expectations. If something turns serious, I'm open to it. If not, I'm exactly where I need to be because I am truly enjoying my life right now. It is the best it has been in my entire life. My focus is on my career advancement, my daughter, my family, my friends. my health, food, fitness, finances, like all those main core pieces of life so that you can actually feel free. The relationship became a nice addition to my life, not something I need to feel complete. And any relationship that I decide to develop will be an addition to my life, fit in perfectly, because that's the only way that I will have it. So I want you to think about your own patterns. Take out your phone and look at your recent messages with people you're romantically interested in or just casually talking to. And for each conversation, just ask yourself, what was I feeling before I sent this message? Was I hoping to get what was I hope to get from this interaction? I'm tripping on my words today. Did this interaction actually solve my problem, or did it just distract me from it? And think about any other areas where you might be looking for external validation for internal discomfort: food, social media, shopping, work. What are you really looking for when you reach for these things? And the next time that you feel uncomfortable emotions, I want you to try something instead. Instead of reaching for your phone or any other distraction, just take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Sit with it for 10 minutes and then ask, how can I take care of myself right now? That is the most important question that you can ask yourself. It will totally shift your perspective, I promise you. Remember, your thoughts make this almost blueprint that your mind and body will work to make your reality. Every single time you imagine yourself successfully handling emotions without any external validation, you are programming your mind for that outcome. So here's what I want you to remember. You are not doing this work to become more attractive excuse me. You are not doing this work to be more attractive to potential partners. You're doing it because you deserve to live without being dependent on anyone or anything else for your emotional well-being. And in a culture that sells us this endless distractions and tells us that discomfort should always be avoided, learning to be with yourself, all of yourself, including the uncomfortable parts, is one of the most radical acts of self-love you can give yourself. And the goal isn't to never feel bored or lonely or restless. The goal is to become someone who can fix those things without immediately reaching for some sort of fix. This is how you can build this unshakable security with yourself, regardless of what anyone else does or doesn't do. You are enough exactly how you are, feeling whatever you're feeling. The discomfort you're avoiding is not your enemy. It is often your growth trying to sneak through, and it's wanting to happen. It's showing itself to you. And if this episode hit home for you today, I would love to hear about your own experiences using dating or food or any other distractions to avoid your emotions. You can email me with your story. And if you're ready to break your own distraction patterns, try this 48-hour challenge. Go 48 hours without reaching out to anyone for romantic attention when you feel uncomfortable emotions. Just see what happens when you choose to sit with yourself instead. I'm so happy that you're here for this episode. I don't know what next week brings, as I'm just kind of letting these ideas flow through me and I'm writing the episodes as they come. So we will see what next week comes. And this coming week, oh my goodness, it is July 4th. So I hope you enjoy your 4th of July. I believe it is on Thursday. Is it Thursday? Nope, 4th of July is Friday. Just look at the calendar. So enjoy your 4th of July, and I will talk to you next week. Just remember, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And as always, please, please keep yourself open to the possibilities because there are so many of you. I love you guys. Bye.